After tying a knot just a week prior, Stacy and I were savoring our last few days off on the quiet stretch of the beach. The moon was high and full, casting streaks and trails across the water, and the flowing waves were the only sounds that accompanied our footsteps. We had decided to take a late night stroll, hand in hand, basking in our newfound joy. The beach was deserted except for the occasional cries of seagulls, but as we walked, Stacy suddenly stopped and squeezed my hand tightly. Her eyes were fixed on something, and her finger pointed out toward the deep water. "Do you see that?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I squinted, trying to make out what she was pointing at. There was a dark silhouette emerging from the water. As it got closer, it became clear that it was a fully dressed man. He seemed to move steadily. It was as if the crashing waves were barely any inconvenience to him at all. And before long, he was ashore, walking on the sand. His clothes were drenched and clung to his body, but they didn't seem to slow him down. He continued his pace, calmly but deliberately, almost as if he was in a trance. Stacy and I watched in silence as he made his way across the beach. His face was void of all emotion, but he still appeared serene, as if he was walking through a dream. And just as I was about to call out to him, he stopped abruptly and looked directly at us. His eyes were dark and hollow, and in that brief moment of connection, I felt an inexplicable chill crawl over my skin. Without another wasted moment, he turned back on his path, and then after walking a few more yards, he simply vanished. Just like that, as if he had been swallowed by the night itself. Stacy and I stood there, confused and nervous. We tried to make sense of what we had just witnessed, but there were no footprints, no signs of where he might have gone. It was as if we had never saw him at all. We returned to our villa, our prior joy replaced by uneasy trepidation. And for years we tried to rationalize what we had seen, but no explanation seemed to fit. It was a story we only shared with each other, an unsolved mystery that we could never quite let go of. Even now, decades later, we sometimes find ourselves walking along that same stretch of beach, hoping to catch another glimpse of the man who walked out of the ocean and vanished in the thin air. And each time we do, we try harder to truly understand what happened that night. No luck yet, but we won't give up.